It is March Madness time. All of the basketball, all of the last second shots, all the drama, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. And I'm not even talking about that in this episode.
Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarrett Patton.
Welcome to this episode of Licensed to Live. My name is Dr. Jarrett Patton, and I am your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Just go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. And while you're there, rate this episode and give me honest feedback so I make sure that I'm providing you with the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. Yeah, this is the season of basketball. We have college basketball, men's and women's. They're going all the way through the March Madness to the Final Four and hopefully the championship. And it is the championship that most coaches, most teams like to start their season with and saying, hey, we don't want to stop until we get to the championship. And that is an ultimate goal for many. And some people will fall short. In fact, 63 of the 64 teams that are in these tournaments will fall short. And there's nothing that the other 63 can do except, well, we got to get back to it and start next time. But this episode isn't all about basketball, although I do have a few basketball stories I'll get to when we come back from the break. But in fact, we'll talk about my basketball coaching days, maybe a few of my basketball playing days. But then we get into the meat of the discussion, and we'll get started with that right after we finish thanking our sponsors.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
Hey, this is Dr. Jarrett Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, Licensed to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. Licensed to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com.
Hey guys, this is Janae Noonan, and I'm here with Dr. Jarrett on Licensed to Live. Hit the subscribe, follow the journey, let's go.
Hey, remember everyone, July 14th, 15th, 16th, Licensed to Live, the conference is going to be back. Get your early bird tickets, licensedtolive.com. Well, I used to play basketball back in the days, and I was a decent player. I wasn't an all-star. I didn't go to the state championships. For me, my goal was simply to make the team because the competition was stiff. And luckily I did make the team and I got to get some playing time. It was fun while it lasted, but I got to ride the bench too. And back in those days, it'd be funny. You'd come in the huddles, the coach would break out the smelling salts, try to wake everybody up. And I'd be sitting there like, I haven't even gotten in yet, coach. I don't need that stuff. Oh, that nauseous smell. Yeah, how things have changed. Now we'll flash forward into today's March Madness, and we look at these tournaments and we look at these coaches. They're pretty well refined. Well, I enjoyed being a basketball coach once upon a time myself. I was a basketball coach for a bunch of fourth grade girls, including my daughter, many years ago, and had quite a bit of success. And me and my assistant coach, we started the season talking about, hey, we want to win the championship. The girls just wanted to have fun and they were here to play. But we said, hey, we want to make you guys the best players that we can make you. And if we can win the tournament at the end of the season, this will be great. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. Now, some people who are familiar with the movie Coach Carter probably thought some of my antics would remind them of that movie. And they said, this guy's being tough on these girls. What the heck is going on? Because, if there was a little bit too much attitude or talk, we'd have to do running drills and conditioning and all the stuff that many of us as athletes used to hate when the coaches would do. But, hey, it was my chance at coaching. We wanted to coach a team. And the girls had some talent, but we wanted to harness some of that energy and talent. So we would spend practice after practice. We would work on some plays. We would work on some passing drills. We would definitely work on defense. And as the season started, we got to see that the girls had some pretty good skills together and they were able to play defense really well. We said, well, with defense, we can shut down teams. They won't be able to know what to do. And so we'd start off in some man-to-man defense just to get them going. Then, boom, we would call the play and they would switch into zone defense. And the zone shut the other teams down. They did not know how to score on our team. And those girls played so hard and they won a lot of games that year and got lots of accolades. But before we could even make that championship run, guess what? All the other coaches got mad. They got angry. They came back and said, hey, you can't do this. You just can't do this. And they actually changed the rules mid-season saying that no one could play zone defense. Go figure. And that, started to unwind our championship run. And it leveled the playing field a little bit because we were coaching some advanced tactics and we had the girls passing and we say, nope, don't shoot that layup. Pass 4 more times before you take any shots. And they worked on their passing and their dribbling and lots of the fundamentals of the game and had some increased game IQ. And they had a great season. It was a lot of fun. And it's just one of the things you like to do as a dad. But having that eye set on the championship is not unusual for people that want to achieve. And, well, what does that championship look like to you? Now, right now, March Madness, especially in healthcare, really is March Madness because I am thinking about all of the fresh residency graduates that just went through the match. And hopefully many of them are successful, but it becomes madness because, well, until the computer tells you, you don't know where you're going. You don't know what program you'll be going into. You don't know if you're going to be accepted into any program and have to scramble until this day. And there is lots of elation and people get excited and lots of disappointment and people aren't so happy that they didn't get any of their top choices or maybe even a choice at all. So for those of you that are in that category that aren't so happy where you ended up, you know what? Don't worry. At the end of it, you're still going to be called doctor. At the end of it, you're still going to be able to make a tremendous career for yourself. You know what? Just get through this next phase. And for those of you that may still be looking for a landing spot, maybe scrambling, maybe looking around to try to change your plans ultimately, again, take this one moment with a grain of salt when you compare it to the entirety of your life. When you look at the entirety of your life, you see that although this moment seems incredibly important right now, with time, it will fade and it won't be as important as you think it is. And really, right now, it's not as important as you think it is. Sometimes things like this, these little detours in life, they come at the right time for the right person. And although you can't see it because you really had this linear pathway that you had your career on, sometimes these detours and deviations are some of the best things that can happen to you. But you just have to give it time in retrospect. So if any of you people that are out here that maybe didn't match, maybe you did not get to where you want to be and you're particularly disturbed about it, hey, hit me up. I'm all over social media at Dr. Jarrett. Spell out the word Dr. J-A, 2 R's, E, 1 T. And I'll give you a little more perspective on this and help you get a better vision moving forward. Now, we started talking about March Madness, the basketball tournament, because, well, that's what most people think of in March when they talk about March Madness. But this show really isn't about basketball. It's really about that ultimate goal, what it means. And in sports, a lot of times it's a championship. But in our professions that aren't sports related, well, a lot of times it may be an award or you get something of the year, you get a name of 50 under 50 or 40 under 40 or 30 under 30 and so on and so forth. Or you get some sort of accolade that you had your eye on. Maybe you just want to get that next job because, well, as crazy as the job market is today, it is not that easy to get a job, even though everybody seems to be looking for people to be employed. But let's think about what coaches do when they're trying to get their team to get that ultimate goal. Well, one thing is that you have to believe that you can achieve that goal. And that's really the first step of anything, that you have to believe in yourself, because there may be a lot of people out there that won't believe a single thing that you say or do. And if you don't believe in yourself, then that means nobody believes in you and you won't achieve that goal. You won't even get near that goal. So unfortunately, you have to keep that in mind, that one, you need to believe in yourself. And no matter how lofty this goal may seem, if it's something you want to happen, keep your eyes on the prize. It's super important for it to go that way. So at the end of the day, if it means applying for a job you don't think you're quite ready for, well, you know what? Apply for it anyway, because you're probably much better prepared for this job than you're giving yourself credit, because a lot of times we let ourselves down. And that's why I like to use affirmations in my life to build myself up, because, well, sometimes you have to tell yourself things that may not be exactly true in the right exact moment, but it can be true moving forward, and it can be something that you can work to achieve. And that's what it all comes down to. So many times we're out here and we have this ultimate goal, and we'll just call it the championship right now, but it can be your next big job. It can be that next research paper you want to put out there. It may be that next bulletin that goes across the organization. Whatever that next goal is, sometimes you might fall short. It's not the end of the world. And it's easy for me to say because, well, when you go through some topsy-turvy twists and turns, you start to take a different and much broader look at your work. But a lot of you guys go through your current career plans and there haven't been many bumps in the road because you've been a high achiever. You're always a high achiever, and you have an idea of what you want to do and continue to do. And because you're a hard worker and things tend to work out, it works that way. But it goes back to maybe Little League. If any of you guys taught in Little League in the era where everybody got trophies just for showing up to a practice or a couple of games, it It's one of those things where there seemed to be a big reward for everything. And then people didn't learn how to deal with failure. People didn't learn how to deal with things that didn't work out quite as planned. And so you don't have the skills and the resilience to kind of rebound from a loss like this, which is why you should take the time to readjust your aim. I didn't say throw out the goal. I didn't say throw away the idea of something grand for you, but I just said readjust. Take that moment that you fell short, take that mini failure, analyze it, see what happened, and then readjust. It doesn't mean that your target changes. It's just your aim changes. And what I mean by that is that you are looking at a different way, perhaps a different perspective, or perhaps even taking a different approach to achieve the goal because the first one didn't go. Now, sometimes you're going to be so close that you said, you know what, I just need to make one minor adjustment and then I'll make it over the hump and I'll get there. So sometimes it simply means you have to readjust your aim. Other things that you can do when you fall short of those goals, when you fall short of the championship and you need to regroup and get ready for next time or next season or next year. I'll give you one more for the road right after we finish thanking our sponsor.
The time is now to refresh your career. We help doctors, lawyers, executives, and VIPs refresh and restart. Dr. Jarrett's coaching helps you build confidence, gain more credibility, develop more leadership skills, and gain clarity in your career path. Want to climb the executive ladder or branch out on your own? We'll put your career in overdrive. Visit drjarrett.com and sign up for your free strategy session.
Hey, and if you need to reach out to me at any time, make sure you sign up for that free strategy session, timewithdrjarrett.com. So finally, you're not going to hit every mark all the time. I mean, it's great when it happens that way, but at some point things will stutter and fail. And when you get to that area and that time when things seem to sputter, stutter, and fall, well, this is the time you take out the notepad, you take out the notes, and then you go back almost like a safety event where you need to analyze, where did we go wrong on this pathway? Is there something that you could have done better? Is there something that could have been better addressed in the system in which you were intending on working? Is there something that perhaps you couldn't control, like we talked about a couple of episodes ago with these banking failures that happened out the blue, that perhaps if you were better prepared to expect the unexpected, I mean, with all the stuff happening today, you better be sure to start being prepared for the unexpected. I mean, they've got tornadoes touching down in the outskirts of LA. I mean, I don't know what's going on in this world right now. But anyway, if you take some of these lessons and then apply them so that as you move forward, you tend to expect the unexpected and you learn from these lessons that go away. These failures actually propel you into the next stratosphere. So even if you don't win and make it to the Final Four and win the championship, even if my fourth grade team didn't get the rules changed on them so we could run away with the championship with that stifling zone defense we put together. Even if you aren't where you need to be right now, that does not mean that you need to give up. That does not mean that you need to just say, oh, well, it was a pipe dream anyway. That only means that you need to readjust your aim, take some lessons from what you learned, and be ready to take action moving forward. Just don't stop. And remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. And in between episodes, I'm hanging out on social media. Find me, reach me, message me. I love interacting with people there. And hey, until you reach that championship. And then you want the repeat, and then maybe the three-peat. Remember, just readjust your aim. Take lessons from what went wrong, and we will see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarrett's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.